So tics is being part of everyday life, right? Because we've become so used to it, so accustomed to these movements. But there was some relief here, brother, when you went to a Vipassana, which sounds amazing. When you can really find that stillness inside yourself, that the tics kind of melt away because you're really in stillness. And we can all find that stillness in us. It's possible for every one of us to find the stillness. I know, but life is just constantly on. It's like constantly on. But if we find that place of rest, which a retreat undoubtedly does, like a Vipassana, you can then bring this into life and that stillness a little bit better than usual. And it is crying out for help. And I've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more today as well. Is that tic is like a child. Actually, this is what we talked about last week, wasn't it? One of the topics from last week, the tic is like a child. How do we talk to children? If they want our attention, they scream because they have no other way of communicating to us. They have no other way of communicating. So they communicate to us in really awkward, painful, frustrating ways that hurts our eardrums because they're yelling and screaming and crying. We just have the intelligence that comes through our body if we are living with this. Our intelligence is coming through the body. It's like, look at me, help me. And again, this is just another reminder, little touching last week's topics. This is a direct message I've received. I'm just reading. Learning to detect the stress better and getting to feel when you're by yourself and when you're alone better. Because what I've noticed actually is working with so many of you, like a lot of us want to like help the world around us all the time. And like we want to help people, we want to support people, we want to make sure everybody's okay. And we're like looking around, making sure we can like nanny everyone. But we give ourselves away. We give our energy, our attention, and our body's now going, me, come back to me, please, come back to me. So again, it's another reminder for us to go, come back to ourselves in practice, in relaxation, in gentleness, in reprioritizing things in our life. Yes to hope, yes to liberation. So after you did that retreat, you had like one of the most liberating 2 weeks of your life, and it's like when you feel that and you know it exists, then it's like accelerates the whole thing even deeper and faster because you know to the depths of your being that this can be gone. And for some of you in the call right now, it may be that you don't fully know completely and believe to the depths of you that it can be gone yet. And that's why you're listening to somebody else in this moment. You're feeling, you're learning. And then as you go down, you learn to still yourself and relax yourself, and you feel the body relax and become gentler and stiller. That feeling just emanates, the peace just emanates through you and the world around you. And you create that beacon. You become that beacon of peacefulness in the body that other people around you get to feel. Like this group, right? There's 11 of us here right now. 11 of us here right now. Like if we are living with this condition or have had it or have made headway with it, like your body is insanely intelligent, right? It's your body which is the intelligence here. We've all been told to constantly think that our mind is the cleverest part of us. But I'm kind of here to share that that's not necessarily true. It's really trippy with these cushions flashing in and out. I've got my niece's bed behind me, so I thought I'd put a blur on the background so that you didn't have to look at my niece's bed, but this is just more awkward.
You could choose a virtual background instead.
Yeah, the blurring is, and I think if I do change it to another background, it will still flash in and out. So I might just switch it off actually, because the flashing is kind of even awkward. It's awkward. So thank you for. Okay, you got the messy room instead. Okay, so a quick recap of last week before we go into today's topics. So we talked last week on like learning to be more aware of our own body. We did a body scan meditation and started dropping into our body. So dropping into the body, feeling the body, connecting with the parts of us, which is here, waiting, connecting, wanting us to see ourselves. We then did like this space. We created this space, didn't we? If you remember back to last week, the space between the mind, the thinking, and the body. Quite often, like our emotions, our thought, our body, it's kind of like it's all jumbled up. It's so tight and we're learning to create space around the parts of our body that is dense. That's dense. It's dense. So maybe even in this moment, as you're listening to me, you can be feeling the part of your body that feels dense, feels tight. And if it feels dense or tight, what is that? Where is that? And it's usually around the tic, in the tic, next to the tic. And just seeing this. Again, there's nothing to do but to see it. And so we looked at this space, the dense, and then this space, and then the density of the ticking and the whatever we do, and then the space. And just feeling, like, feeling what I'm trying to get to here. Because I speak with words, but I'm trying to communicate something which is like in the body, right? And so it's feel me, look at me, see me. Don't just listen to the words that I'm saying. Absorb what I'm communicating as well. Okay. And then we briefly talked about the tic as a child. The tic is calling out, crying out for us, wanting our attention, needing our attention. And we have the intelligence there. So I'm going to share a few new concepts right now, and then we're going to go into a half-an-hour practice or so. And this is expanding, this first piece is expanding on what we talked about last week with the different bodies that we exist as and in. We have this physical body, okay, this matter-based thing, bone, right? This is the body. Physical, hard, muscle, flabby bits, right? Cool. One part of you. It's just one part of the you that you are, right? Because you're not just the physical body. You're also the thinking mind. So right now, many of you will be thinking something. Maybe you can catch yourself. What are you thinking? And you can just examine, what are you thinking? Maybe you're thinking, this guy Dazz ain't got a clue what he's talking about. Or this guy Dazz is sweating so much, wow, it must be hot where he is. This guy Dazz, or maybe it's about yourself. You're like, you're on camera, you're like, I don't want to tick. I'm making sure I don't want to tick. I don't want to tick. I don't want to tick. People are going to see me. Maybe it's a thought like that, right? Like we have our thoughts that are going on all the freaking time, right? And so seeing those thoughts, and knowing that that's a part of us that we can choose, like we're walking down a road, we can take a left turn or a right turn. The thoughts are the same. oh, I can think about that, or I can think about that. Now, often thoughts are like running uncontrollably. That's the state of this world right now. It's all very, in a bit of a disarray. It's a bit maddening of a world that we exist in. But it's possible when we learn to practice and relax ourselves that the thinking mind can be a little bit more gentle instead of like erratic, like this thought, this thought, this thought, this thought, this thought, this thought, this thought. And like no wonder our body's like doing stuff if we can't like start noticing, seeing the thoughts, relaxing the thoughts, right? And so we're just seeing the thoughts, saying hello to the thoughts, which are usually like flying around here, right? Or maybe it's quite intensely here, or maybe it's up there, whatever it might be for you. Where's your thinking head? So we have the thoughts, the thinking stuff. And the thoughts can be forward-thinking thoughts. So we're planning, we're organizing, we're practicing something in our mind because at some point in the future, we've got to make sure we're really perfect, right? So we have the thinking, the forward-thinking thoughts. And then we have the past thoughts, reminiscing, regretting, wishing you had done something different, right? You know, all that stuff, right? And in between the thoughts of the future and the past, right? There is no thought. There's just being with your body. Okay. So we have the physical body, which is one of your bodies. Then we have the thinking mind, which is another, which we call the mental body, right? The physical body, the mental body, the thinking mind, the mental body, same. And thirdly, we have the emotional body. It's possible to feel emotions, isn't it? Without any thought associated with them. And I'm breaking these three parts of us down because by having a reference point in seeing these three parts, we get to create space between the tic, our thinking, and the emotions associated with them. At the moment, if something's happening, they're so intertwined. So we have the physical body, thinking mind, slowing down. And then we have the emotions. Now, what I found was that the emotions usually reared their head more when I started slowing down the mind. So once I started slowing down the mind, it's like, oh, there's a lot of emotions there. And so, okay, there's emotions. What do I do with the emotions? Right? Well, we can start thinking about them, but thinking about them just rises above them. And so nothing actually releases. We don't get to heal ourselves. We don't get to let the emotions move through us. Okay, so emotions are things that kind of move through and around us, right? And if we play the same story in our head, we can play out the same emotion again in our body. Or if we have a lot of trauma in our body, okay? We have a lot of trauma in our body, then we might play out the same pattern again and again and again and again. The tic is just a looping pattern where some of the emotion that has got stuck in our body is just playing out again and again. The tic is like this thing that wants to release, but it's got caught in a loop. It's got caught in a loop. And so what we learn to do is we learn to like pull out the bottom of the loop, break the loop, and feel and allow the emotions behind the loop to release. So a lot of you are coming here to talk about tics. I want to get rid of tics. I want to stop tics. And I'm talking about emotions. right? But that's the key, right? And I'm trying to create a narrative and a story so that as many of you here as you can see the narrative and the story here and start relating the emotional part of this, the feelings, the sensations in the body, and that's related to the tic. Okay. Okay, so they're the bodies, and this is just a good framework to exist in as you go forward now from this day forth. The three bodies that you are: physical body, the mental body, the thinking mind, and emotions, the emotional body. Now this gives a good framework to start seeing your own tic with a little bit more space, okay? I'm not going to go any deeper into that right now, we'll leave it there. So we briefly touched on the tic being like it's like this loop, this pattern that's got stuck in us. It's got stuck. We're playing out the same pattern, right? Neck, shoulder, our eyes, like whatever it is, everyone's different. Playing it out. And when I ticked then, right, just be aware of what emotions came up for you when I ticked and you watched me tick. Like inside of you, when I ticked, let's say I'm doing a tick like this, what's going on inside of you? Do you feel like a lot of love? Or do you feel like anxiety, like shit? Excuse my language. Like noticing the feelings that come up is part of the process of letting this condition go. So the loop is being created in the body because there is some unprocessed emotional stuff. We call that trauma. Some unprocessed emotional stuff is called trauma. So trauma doesn't have to be like oh, a bit of energy moving there. Whoever's dropping in, oh, something's really dropping in. Oh. If you watch my YouTube videos, you know that the way that I feel the energy now because I'm very sensitive. So trauma is the emotional stuff that's got stuck. It doesn't have to be like a big, car crash, right? This big traumatic event, Trauma is and can be the subtlest of human interactions that might have happened as a child, right? It could have been like just a look from a girl or boy that you really fancied and it made you really insecure for ages, right? And there's, like really hit you really deep, It could have been being bullied at school, It could have been a million things. Like that trauma that gets caught up in us if we didn't have the opportunity of processing it at the time. And then we hold on to it, right? And then it stays in us and it causes all sorts of ailments and diseases and issues in the world. And most of what we see out there as chronic conditions is usually just trauma that we've picked up and we haven't learned to heal. For us, for this particular group, our body is the thing that's reacting to the trauma. It's the body which is reacting. And so we're learning to see that there's something that isn't comfortable in me. What is that? What is that feeling? What is that pattern? And this is just an opportunity for introspection, for exploration. It doesn't have to be fixed right now. You don't have to go, well, okay, Dazz says I am now traumatized and I now need to go and fix this trauma. That's not what I'm saying. Right? I'm saying that we are a makeup of all our past experiences in our life. And some of them are quite subtle and traumatic, and they've kind of created emotional things that happened. And then our body is then going to this state of suffering for many months, years, decades. I lived with this for 20 years. So some of you may be longer on this call, some of you shorter. And now it's gone, it's clear, because I've given myself again and again the opportunity to cleanse, to clear, to see, to release, to relax, to let go, to be present with myself, and to feel. Okay, so I've spoken enough. We've talked a little bit about what we did last week. We've introduced the concepts of the bodies. We talked about trauma, so the seeing of what trauma is. And then how it then creates this kind of, we've created a loop, you know, created a loop in our body of this thing. So how do we break this loop? So we're going to go through a guided practice today for the next 25 minutes or so. I'm going to guide us, let's say, back to a time or an experience or a moment where we ticked in our life. Particular memory that might come up as we go into this experience. So we can let go of any thoughts that pop up right now, and we're going to go into the body, we're going to relax, we're going to practice, and then we're going to connect deeper. And I'm going to guide us through, let's say, a visualization. So, let's do this. So I always like to begin these sessions with just encouraging us to find ourselves in a posture of balance. Shoulders are balanced. Maybe hands are resting on the legs or the lap. Maybe your feet are just touching the ground or the floor or the earth beneath you. So you're just feeling balanced, you're connected to the ground, and you're just relaxing. Learning to feel our body. So any stories or thoughts that are in the mind right now that have been playing in the background of this call so far, just letting go of them. Just letting go of all those thoughts, any of those thoughts. Just dropping, relaxing into the body. The best way to relax into the body is to bring your awareness to your own breath. And so we can focus on our own breath in the solar plexus area, which is just below the rib cage, above the stomach. Middle of the rib cage, above the stomach, solar plexus. If you're looking at the screen, you can see me focus on it. And just allowing ourselves to breathe into this area of the body. As we go inwards with the breath, we can close our eyes if you haven't already. And with each breath, just continuing to relax any holding in the body. Relaxing around the solar plexus area of the body. And with each breath, sinking deeper into let's say the muscle or the muscles, the bones that you are. If any thoughts pop into the mind, again, just noticing that, oh, I'm thinking. Just noticing that thought. And then just going, oh, okay, back to my body. Back to the solar plexus, maybe the stomach or the chest. Feeling now the rise and the fall of your body. Just feeling that relaxation, the rise and fall of the breath, the stomach, the chest. And with each breath in, just very gently as you can, breathing in. I'm going to do that again, like as gently as you can, breathing in. And if you're breathing in and you feel a bit of tightness, try and go even more gently as you breathe in. Just bringing a gentleness to our own breath, our own body. And again, can you go another level of gentleness when you take your next breath? You can, at this stage, throw in a little bit of like just love and compassion for our own body. So we're going to take another gentle breath in and just feeling that love for ourselves. And if that's hard to connect to, sometimes it is, just imagining a connection between the heart area of your body and the area of your body where you're focusing on your breath. maybe the solar plexus. And I want us now to take this gentleness that we find ourselves in, and staying in this gentleness of the breathing. And I want you to bring your awareness to the part of your body which usually tics the most. And continuing with very gentle breathing. And also being aware of the part of you that might tic, or starts to tic, or feels tight or dense. And just allowing that softness to also be with the tic too. In this way, we are connecting, joining the relaxation associated with the gentle breath that we are taking each day. Thousands and thousands of times a day, and we're sharing that love, that gentleness with the part of our body that is crying out for our attention. You can imagine it however you want to imagine it. Whatever looks soft or feels soft or is soft. And in this space of compassion and love for this part of our body that's wanting our attention, I'm going to ask you a few questions and we're going to relate to it. And what I want you to do is go with your instinct, your intuition, the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you these questions. Don't overthink it. Just the first thing that comes to mind, take that one. First question I'm going to ask you about this part of the body that's crying out for your attention is, what color is it? What color is it? And just keep that color in your mind. I'm going to ask you another question. What shape? What shape is it? What kind of shape is it? And if I ask you, what sound does it want to make? What sound does it want to make? And if you're in a space you can make the sound. If you're not, just know what the sound is. And what emotion is there? Is there an emotion there? And if there's emotion there, just seeing the emotion. You can feel that emotion even better. And if this color, shape, thought form thing could say something, what would it say? What would it say? Just allowing the energies and the emotions to keep moving through us right now. Just staying with this part of us. Is there let's say, is there any other way that this part of us wants to express right now? That needs to express itself? And just acknowledging that. If you want to express it with your voice, your body, now you can, you're allowed to. Or maybe you just want to see it and know it, that maybe that's something that you can allow, forgive, relate to, do again. Just observing this part of you that's expressing or wanting to express. So we're going to ask this particular part of us, this shape, memory, color thing, is there anything else that wants to be shared, said, expressed, talked about? And if there is something, you can offer it to them, offer it to him or her. With presence, with love. Awesome. And then we're just going to offer some gratitude to this moment, this exploration of the subconscious, the unconscious. Just say thank you. You can speak it into the room that you're in, or you can just say it in your mind's eye, in your imagination. Just say thank you. Thank you to this. Thank you to whatever this is, whatever experience this was for you. Just saying thank you to this moment. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the release. Thank you for a new insight. Whatever you experienced is right for you. There's no wrong thing here. And then letting that go. So maybe you can just imagine now, let's say, a current of water washing in from the top of your head. Current of water just washing down and through you. Let's say fresh, iced, fresh waterfall, fresh spring, rainforest water It's just washing through you, over you, cleansing, clearing. You can feel the aliveness of that, right? The aliveness of nature with you, the aliveness of your body, that cold ice water just washing through you, over you. Letting all of that go, that exploration, washing that away. Coming now into a short grounding practice. So we've washed this away, feeling the aliveness of our body, cleanse some unconscious patterns or memories. We're grounding now back into our body, feeling the floor beneath us. So you can feel your feet on the ground, or whatever part of you is touching the ground underneath you. You can also feel the bottom of your bum or buttocks, or the bottom of your feet. Just feeling like that safety, the stability. And in this space, we can start connecting to the sensation of gravity, that sensation of gravity. And it's just a very subtle pulling, isn't it? It's like a little magnet. But we're feeling that magnet pulling, like pulling us down into the body, into the ground. Try and tune into gravity. Gravity, 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 feeling that, feeling that, feeling that gravity. It's this sensation which pulls us out of the craziness of the mind into the body. Gravity, feeling it, that sensation. You can't go wrong with gravity. You can't do it wrong. You can't do it too much. It's gravity, it's there. This gravity gives us a sense of feeling in our body and safe. It's what we're looking for. It's what we need. We want the body to feel safe again. And just noticing where you are tuned into gravity. Everybody tunes into it slightly differently. Noticing for you where you went to. Where is that? Where can you tune into gravity more easily in your body? And just acknowledging that so you know how to get back to that gravity sensation again in the future. Is it the feet? Is it the bum? Is it around you? Is it somewhere else in your body? Just and for the next minute, I'm not going to say any words. Just be with yourself in this state, in this condition of awareness. Just being with you. Noticing where you are. Where you are, meaning, did your thoughts wander? Did you stay with your body? Was that a pleasant experience? Just where you're at. And very, very gently, very, very gently, starting to connect with the surroundings of the room or the park or wherever you are in. Just noticing the surroundings. You can gently allow some light back into your eyes. And very gently staying in that state of relaxation in the body, but now with the eyes open. Listen. Bit of a trip, that one was. So yeah, we went pretty deep there. We went pretty deep into our unconscious there. We allowed ourselves to like talk and see a part of us that maybe hadn't been able to express in the mind. So it's very subtle work, this, right? Very subtle, but it can have very big effects on patterns in your life as you go forward. So we like see and shift the mini trauma patterns that we have inside of us. And then when we look differently next time, then the patterns and the habits that we create in our life change, and that then creates the new way of living. So we've only got a few minutes left. If you want to drop like a comment, question, an expression of something that happened for you that you really feel as if you want to share with the group, you are so very welcome to either share via video, if you'd like, or via the message, the chat box as well. If you'd like to share via video, just unmute yourself. You're welcome. Karen's like, did anyone almost take a nap? I get the soothing voice comment, yeah, quite a lot. Thank you, Karen. But yeah, when you're in that state of relaxation, like the work that we're doing in that subtle space is still happening, even if you're kind of like drifting, right? It's still happening. That relaxation, your unconscious is still listening to me, and you're still being guided. So the work is still happening. So I'm just getting a private message, a direct message, which I'm reading. Can I find the video other than in Telegram? So I usually just post this link within Telegram. Yes, that's the current way I'm doing it. I might change it in the future, but for now, for the coming few weeks, I'll just be posting it in Telegram. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, 1 minute to go. We'll leave it there then, guys. Thank you so much for showing up today and deciding to commit, share some time, be in peace and relaxation, and to keep nurturing your inner world, which is related to the outer world and the body, of course. Okay. Yeah, Ben, exactly. Okay, until next week. Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.